G'day guys, welcome back. Let's do another reaction. This time we're going to look at a video about 15 German brand names that are pronounced wrong around the world, and we'll see how I go with them, how we pronounce them differently in Australia compared to what I know how they're pronounced in America and also in Germany. So let's have a look. So it should be interesting. If you like these videos, like and subscribe, and we'll get stuck into it.
The first one is Audi. Most Americans that I know pronounce it like I just said it, Audi. In German, we say Audi. Audi. And there's actually a funny story as to where this name came from. In 1904, a guy called August Horch founded a car company called A. Horch und Company, Motorenwarenwerke Zwickau, but a few years later he left the company and founded a new one. But he wasn't allowed to call it Horch again, and since that's not only his last name, but also means listen in the imperative form, he ended up translating it into Latin, and that's Audi. So Audi means listen. The company is located in Ingolstadt in Bavaria. Then, of course, one of the most famous car brands in the world is this one.
So in Australia we say Porsche, but I do hear people say Porsche, but it's Porsche.
It's located in Stuttgart, Germany. I've heard Americans pronounce it Porsche or Porsche. In German, we say Porsche. So there's like this short E sound in the end. Porsche. It was founded by Ferdinand Porsche in 1931 as a company for vehicle development work and consulting. And one of the first assignments that the company had was from the Nazi government at the time to design a car for the general public, which was what later would become Volkswagen. And so they designed the Volkswagen Beetle, the VW Käfer. This one sounded super funny to me when I first heard how people pronounce it in English.
Alright, so in English everyone calls that Mercedes or Mercedes, but I think in German it's got more of a T sound. It's more like Mercedes. Mercedes.
I actually used to drive one back in Germany. So most Americans call this Mercedes. In German, we pronounce it Mercedes. So Mercedes versus Mercedes. Mercedes. So it's really pretty different.
Mercedes.
And the full name, of course, is MercedesBenz. I've also heard that in England, people also refer to Mercedes as Merc. A German will not know what you're talking about if you say that, just for your information. Originally, it was just the company Daimler Motorengesellschaft, founded in 1890. The name Mercedes was added later, inspired by a Daimler car dealer called Emil Jelinek, who was also driving car races under the alias Monsieur Mercedes, which was
It's still Daimler-Benz today, isn't there? It's still some, don't they do some cars, Daimler-Benz?
based on his daughter's first name, Mercedes Jelinek. The name was later also used for one of the car models in the year 1900 and then eventually became the name of the brand itself. This one simply has 3 letters, but of course...
Alright, so we know BMW, but that would be because the W in German's a V, so they probably call it BMW. Now, we always taught that that's Bayern Motor Works, but I have done a video before where it's Bayerische Motorwerken, something like that. But that would be a BMW in Germany.
Of course, they're pronounced differently in English and in German. In English, people say BMW. In German, we say BMW because W is pronounced W in German, and it stands for Bayerische Motorenwerke, which means Bavarian Engine Works. And of course, BMW is located in my hometown, Munich, which is the capital of Bavaria. The company was founded in 1916 and originally mainly produced aircraft engines for Bayerische Motor.
Okay, so even that's been anglicised. So we've turned that into Bayern Motor Works instead of Bayerische Motorenwerke.
Werke, which means Bavarian Engine Works, and of course BMW is located in my hometown Munich, which is the capital of Bavaria. The company was founded in 1916 and originally mainly
That's the flag too, isn't that blue and white? Isn't that the flag? Isn't that also the soccer team? Bayern Munich, and they blue and white.
produced aircraft engines. It's said that the logo represents a plane propeller, and it also has the colors of Bavaria, blue and white, to show the company's origin. Then after World War I, they survived by producing motorcycle engines, farm equipment, household items, and railway brakes, and built their first motorcycle in 1923, and then became a car manufacturer a few years later. They then went back to concentrating on aircraft engines again during World War II, using forced labor from prisoners in concentration camps, and didn't get back into car manufacturing until 1952. Overall, all of these German car brands that I just mentioned are more or less considered luxury brands in the US. I mean, Porsche, of course, is considered a luxury brand in Germany.
They're just normal cars in Germany
As well, but Audi, Mercedes, and BMW are pretty much just regular car brands to us. Obviously, they do have expensive luxury cars as well, but the regular models are driven by people from all social classes in Germany. English speakers call this Volkswagen, while in Germany we usually just call it VW, VW, VW. But even if we did go by the full name,
Alright, so I teach this in my English classes. So I explained that the German is Volkswagen, and then I say the English word, which folk means people, and then wagon, which is just like a cart, so people's cart or people's car. But yeah, I alternate. Sometimes I call it Volkswagen, sometimes I'll say Volkswagen. Depends, but I definitely say VW. I don't say VW.
it would be pronounced Volkswagen and not Volkswagen. So just imagine that it was spelled with an F and V instead. Volkswagen. This literally means people's car or car of the people, and it was founded during the Third Reich in the late 1930s because Hitler wanted to have a car that was affordable for middle-class Germans and that met the needs of an average family. So
I like how she gives all this little bit of background history to it too. That's interesting. It's a good video.
this was his attempt to make cars something that wasn't only available to upper class people, but to the general public. And the company is based in
Wolfsburg. I think the Volkswagen factory is the biggest factory in the world. I've actually seen a documentary on it. It was ridiculous how many people worked there. It was something like 2,000 hairdressers, and 10,000 people worked in the pay office.
Wolfsburg. Now let's move on to something other than cars. So this is one of the brands.
So we've already done this one. So yeah, Americans say Adidas, but Australians always say Adidas.
Where when I heard Americans say this for the first time, I didn't understand at all what they were referring to because they usually pronounce it Adidas, and in Germany we say Adidas. Adidas, Adidas.
But also there's something about Adidas, because there were two brothers or something, and one started Puma or Puma. I think they had a fight or something, and one of the brothers started another shoe company called Puma or Puma. So in America they say Puma. I don't know how they say that in Germany, but in Australia we say Puma.
Super different. It's the second largest sportswear manufacturer in the world after Nike, and I don't think that a lot of people know that this is a German company. It also has an interesting backstory. It was founded by Adolf Dassler, whose nickname was Adi, so the brand name is based on his first and last name, Adidas. He founded the company at his mother's house after he returned from World War I, and he actually played a big role in developing spiked running shoes. In 1924, his brother Rudolf joined the company, and they founded the Dassler Brothers Shoe Factory, but they later got into a fight, split up, and his brother actually founded his own company called Puma, which became the biggest rival of Adidas. So both Adidas and Puma are German brands.
So she's pronouncing that Puma as well. So that's a North American animal, so we don't have that in Australia. So but we would still call it Puma.
Another shoe manufacturer that many Germans would probably
Birkenstock. So I know the brand, but it's not very popular in Australia for some reason. Okay, I don't. Australians don't wear sandals; they wear thongs. So what does Birkenstock mean? It's something walking stick or something, is it? Walking stick?
consider very, very German. Like if you talk about something typically German, Birkenstock is definitely going to be mentioned. But of course, this brand is known all over the world nowadays, and it's natural that people pronounce it with their native accent. So English speakers usually say Birkenstock. In German, we say Birkenstock. Birkenstock, Birkenstock, which literally translates to birch stick. The roots of the company go all the way back to the 18th century, by the way. From shoes to alcohol, this
Alright, so Jagermeister. So I hear some people say Jagermeister, and not with the Jaeger, and Meister. So what does Jaeger mean? Hunter? Was that Hunt? No, Hunt is dog, so Hunt master.
This is pronounced Jägermeister in German, Jägermeister. English speakers usually say Jägermeister, which is pretty much the same, just with a pretty thick accent. And people also often use the abbreviation Jäger, like, can I have a shot of Jaeger, please? It literally means hunt master. Jäger is the hunter, and Meister is master, and it's a German herbal liquor.
And I don't like it.
This is a German grocery.
Alright, so Aldi. Let's go with Aldi. In Australia, we say Aldi.
Store. You can also find them in other European countries.
But I do hear some people say Aldi. My sister says Aldi, but I would say Aldi.
They even have some stores in the US. I usually get the majority of my groceries at Aldi here in the US. In Germany, we call stores like Aldi or Lidl discounters because...
So she's almost pronouncing that with a Y, like 80 instead of Aldi. 80.
They sell groceries for very low prices. In English, people usually pronounce this Aldi. I think I've also heard Aldi before, but I think most people say Aldi. Or they also sometimes add an S that isn't there in the end and say Aldis. In Germany, we just say Aldi. It has its origins in 1945 when the two brothers Theo and Karl Albrecht took over their mother's corner store and came up with the concept of having a small selection while having low prices. The name Aldi comes from
Here we go again. I bet you Theo and Carl have a fight and separate.
Albrecht discount. So
what does Carl start? He probably starts another supermarket chain.
Albrecht, which is their last name, discount. In Germany, we have Aldi Süd and Aldi Nord, Aldi South and Aldi North. Again, this is because of two brothers splitting up into two different businesses. In the US, the store is simply called Aldi, and it actually belongs to Aldi South, while the store Trader Joe's belongs to Aldi North.
I don't know where Trader Joe is. I've never been in one. We don't have them in Australia.
Now let's move on to cosmetics. Nivea
Nivea. Everyone says Nivea.
Is a German brand from Hamburg that's mainly known for its face lotion in the little blue container, but of course they offer a large variety of products nowadays. Again, I find the English pronunciation pretty funny here. English native speakers usually say Nivea. In German, we say Nivea. So the emphasis is on the E. Nivea. This is a German hair cosmetics.
Alright, so I know this one. This is Schwarzkopf. So Schwarz is black and Kopf is head, so black head. And I learned this one very early on, and my mother used to use all Schwarzkopf products.
brand that you can find all over the world pretty much. In German, we pronounce it Schwarzkopf, which literally means black head. Schwarzkopf. English native speakers usually pronounce it Schwarzkopf or Schwarzkopf or something along those lines.
Sometimes I don't put the F on it, it's just cop. Schwarzkopf.
Deutsche Bank is the largest bank in Germany. Deutsche Bank also literally means German bank. Of course, you can find Deutsche Bank not only in Germany, but in other countries as well. A good friend of mine here in Cincinnati.
So yeah, I've heard people just call this Deutsche Bank when it should be Deutsche Bank. But yeah, some people just say Deutsch.
Actually just did an internship with them in their New York City location, and she's also going to start a full-time job with them soon. And Americans usually pronounce it Deutsche Bank or something along those lines, and my friend always uses the abbreviation Deutsch when she refers to it. So like she said, I got a job offer from Deutsch, which is just really funny to me because that literally just means German. This is a German manufacturer.
Alright, so I've bought one of their ovens before. It cost me an absolute fortune. I think I paid about $10,000 for a big stand-up oven. So I know this one. This is Miele.
Manufacturer of high-end domestic appliances, and it's not exactly pronounced wrong in English, but English native speakers usually say something like Miele, Miele. So it usually sounds more like an A in the end, whereas in German we say Miele. Miele, so the last letter is just a little bit different. And Miele really does stand for quality. If you invest in a Miele dishwasher or washing machine, you just know that it's going to be a good product and it's going to last.
All the what do they call them? Laundry. What do they call them? All those coin-operated laundry shops in Australia, they all have Miele washing machines.
This is something that everyone knows and loves.
Alright, so this is not a big product in Australia, but we know it. Okay, so we would just call that Haribo, but if it was the German pronunciation, it's probably more like Haribo, and probably stress on the I, Haribo, I would say. And then they've got Gold Baron down the bottom, which would be Gold Baron. Frisch, fruitig, very good. Alright, now I do trivia quizzes, and I kind of remember where the name comes from. It comes from the first two letters of the guy's name, and then the city where the factory is, something like that. Anyway, it's the two first letters of something.
Hopefully. Maybe not everyone knew that Haribo is actually German. We pronounce it Haribo. Haribo. And again, the name originates in the name of the founder of the company, which was Hans Riegel, and he was from the city of Bonn in Germany. So Hans Riegel from Bonn, and he always took the first two letters.
So here it says Haribo macht Kinder froh. So Haribo makes kids. What's froh? It's not strong. Strong. Strong or happy? What does froh mean? Is that strong or happy or smart? And Wasche seiner Benzo. So I don't know what that means. That's original from 1922. Alright.
Put them together and it became Haribo. Hans Riegel Bonn. Haribo. And last but not least, let's talk.
Alright, so that's Lufthansa. And so that's the German airline.
About a company that is not doing super well during these times, but it's one of the largest companies in Germany and second largest airline in Europe, and maybe you've flown with them before. In English, people use.
So what's the Air Force called in Germany? Luftwaffe, or Luftwaffe, or Luftwaffen. So Luft just means plane.
Usually say Lufthansa, but in German we say Lufthansa. So the emphasis is on the first syllable, Lufthansa versus Lufthansa. And that was the last brand name on my list.
And what's the song? 99 Luftballons. 99 Luftballons. That'll take some people back. So there we go. There's some look at some pronunciation problems that English speakers have with German product names. If you like this video, and leave me a comment, see how you think I did. Did I do a good enough job? A little bit easier for me because I actually learnt German for a long time during high school, so I understand the pronunciation of some of it. I don't speak German anymore, don't pretend to, but I still remember a lot, or some things, not a lot. But anyway, I really like this video. I really like this woman. So I'll leave a description. I'll leave her site and everything, this video, her YouTube channel in the description. Make sure you go over and check out some of her videos. And like I said, like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one. Auf Wiedersehen.